proxy something? Do you think it's going to be a Dark Shrine, perhaps, given the Templar Archives?
Yeah, that could very well be it. No, it probably must be it. I highly doubt that we want to proxy a gateway that far away. That wouldn't really make a lot of sense. I gotta say, sOs a little bit out of position for this drop. Shield battery does come in handy, but the Marines are just going to gun it down immediately. I think ByuN should be able to grab maybe 1 or 2 probes here.
Yeah, Dark Templar actually defensively on the side of sOs, so ByuN is gonna know to keep his Raven at home. He already has a Widowmine ready to potentially scan those 2 Dark Templars and get rid of them, so neither player really finding the damage that they want. Okay, one DT will go down, but so will a supply depot.
Okay, ByuN, you should pull these SCVs. Hello, that was a little bit sloppy. I don't know what's happening. Dark Templar finding a little more success, but that's still 2 Dark Templars though, cats. Pretty pricey units to lose this early on into the game.
Yeah, and I feel that with the Raven opener, one of the biggest advantages of making Dark Templars is that you can't move out very easily against them.
Whoa.
The Protoss player can be, whoa! Oh, indeed, double blink.
Yeah,
right.
You don't see that super often, right? Like the double blink being researched at the same time. Blink Stalkers and blink Dark Templars. I mean, Fear Dragon is clapping right now. He's muted, but I can still hear him, cats.
Yeah, same. Here comes a big push. Somewhat uncharacteristic of ByuN. Oh, the blink TT. He's not going to care much about that wall, and this is causing already a little bit of havoc here. ByuN is talking to himself, not happy about it.
Nope, this is bad. 11 SCVs going down, maybe a few more. I don't know what happened with the other Dark Templar, but that's sick because ByuN's entire army moved out and all of it turned around. And this means that sOs is getting extra time to get ready for this at home. I wouldn't mind a couple of DTs at home at this point because they are not bad in the straight-up fight if they can just blink right on top of Marines.
So you would rather have DTs over Archons in this situation?
Yes, I think so, because once you take care of the Marines, the tanks are not that intimidating anymore. Stalkers are going to kite a little bit. This is a very big moment in this game. ByuN knows that he needs to do something because he's been falling behind economically, but this Protoss army is getting pretty big, cats.
Exactly, and that's why it's so beautiful that sOs moves on forward and stalls. It buys some time for another Zealot warping, and the longer ByuN has to wait, the worse it is going to be for him. Another DT trying to make his way... Oh, that looks like no scan available, so ByuN is actually going to have to run up his ramp and wait for that scan. Already stimming that army and having to pull back again. He's still on 2 base.
Yep. This is kind of that phase in the game where I'd love to see sOs be like, you know what? I survived a scary phase because my opponent didn't feel like he could break me. Take your gases and start adding a Robo Bay, right? Or maybe go into Storm. It depends what you like. I think Storm could work, but I also think Colossi would be an excellent choice. I mean, you can stick on these gateway units, but then you're basically putting all your eggs in one basket, and you need to win the moment you attack him, because otherwise, eventually, Zealots and Stalkers are simply not going to cut it. Kind of still waiting for sOs to show us a little bit more than everything he's shown us so far, right? Like, his army is good because of the 5 Colossus, but what are we going to do with the money? He hasn't been building any probes for a long time. I'm pretty sure some European Protosses are ripping their hairs out. It's like, you can't sit on 61 probes all game, and sOs is like, no, I can actually. And maybe I want to because he wants to have a big army. Who knows?
Who knows indeed. One area where ByuN has also been succeeding is the upgrades. He has done a really good job. He has 2-2 to the 2-1 of sOs, and he's actually going to pounce onto 2 Colossus, unable to clear them out. At some point, Roddy, does sOs just need to push? Is he waiting to be maxed? Or because I feel his army is so strong right now, but what is he scared of?
Yeah, I think maybe this is go time. Maybe he's hoping that one time the Zealots can actually deal a lot of damage in the main base, and that's the window that he's looking for to get his main army to the other side of the map. But I'm with you, because he's been stuck on this for a while. I love when he added the second Robo in the Robo Bay, but I kind of feel like we want to do something with his army, because eventually the Terran army is going to get better and better. We see Vikings, the Ghost count is climbing, we're getting rid of some of the Marines, we're getting more Marauders. It's like, come on sOs, you're still on like 20 plus Stalkers. I feel like you want to fight with that army, you don't want to sit on it forever.
Yes, indeed. Am I blind? Can we check the unit stat map really quick? Is there a sentry out for sOs? I don't think I've seen one. Oh, there is 2. Brilliant. All right. So yeah, I'm not sure what we're waiting for here. I mean, he's doing great at the harassing, but at some point, he's just giving so much space for ByuN to continue to get those upgrades if he wants them, to get those starports situated. Now ByuN producing 2 Vikings with a second starport on the way, adding extra production, and he's maxed. And at this point, it's anyone's game.
I do feel that ByuN should start his 3-3 upgrades. I feel like he's been stuck on 2-2 for quite some time, and upgrades obviously do matter a lot. The armies are getting awfully close to each other in the bottom. I believe that was a Nexus kill, not a cancel. sOs is starting to add the first disruptors in the mix, so that's kind of cool to see. A little bit late perhaps, but you know, better late than never.
Yeah, absolutely. Disruptors are gonna scale with these armies as there's, you know, when there's more on the ground, there's more for those guys to hit. And both armies fighting on either side, and sOs looking to take the better off one side, but on this side, the Colossi are exposed. That Immortal doing wonders, though, and that is exactly what you build them for, is to tank and to get rid of the Marauders, like you mentioned earlier.
Yep, that could have gone a lot worse for sOs, because I think those two Colossi could have potentially gone down too. But now at least he got rid of a couple of the Stalkers, and he can replace his army with slightly better units. I wouldn't hate to see a Templar Archives, not because I think he needs Storm right here, right now, but I think Storm is nice to have, but just to be able to get a couple of Archons, because if the armies don't have any Ghost, then obviously the Archons can be very successful. This is a lot of Zealots. The EMPs are massive on the side of ByuN, and if I was sOs, I wouldn't really want to take a fight like this unless I have a War Prism in the back so I can reinforce immediately.
Yes, indeed. The EMPs are gonna mostly be looking to hit anything, right? But maybe the sentries more so, just to avoid having to fight the extra 2 armor from the Guardian Shield. And sOs has already spent that, so this engagement might go a little bit better for ByuN if he can take it, but he does not want to fight in chokes.
No, I mean, ByuN is okay with losing a couple of units and replacing them with more Ghosts and more Vikings, as we can see on the production tab. I am truly mesmerized by the fact that sOs just stays on 60 probes for the entire game. This is clearly a decision, this is not a mistake. It is going to give him 140 army supply to work with, so that's pretty cool. But it also means that he never has like a massive bank to fall back on. If he loses one fight, the game is over.
Yes, indeed, and there is a big fight about to start. 8 DTs were warped in, so let's keep an eye on the map for where they are going to be hitting. Be careful with those Disruptors. Those are expensive and important units. The Stalkers are going to man up to the front, or woman up. I'm not sure what Stalkers are.
Not sure either, Cats, but a couple of them got away, so they can tell the tale. sOs is going to be able to keep this base safe. Let's see if these Dark... I don't think that's enough DTs to kill a PF. No, if we repair it, we should be fine. The repair was a little bit late, though. Okay, well, I expected ByuN to repair that a little bit quicker. I mean, sure, he's going to get it. Is he going to lose one of these Archons? Yes, at least one. That's still a lot of DTs and an Archon. Killing the PF is awesome, but it's not a free pickoff.
Where is the 3-3? It's been so long.
Yeah, that's a massive mistake at this point, because ByuN has been maxed out a couple of times. That is something he truly should have had, and I'm pretty sure he thinks he has it. He just doesn't.
Yeah, he just completely forgot. It has been so very long, and when you're maxed out, obviously upgrades are going to be stronger and stronger, and he continues to get upgrades for his heir. But yeah, I mean, you were mentioning the Templar Archives, Kevin. I'm not sure, like, there's a lot of Ghosts, obviously, but there is a turning point where maybe you clear the Ghosts, or defensively Storm could be good. Let's see. Oh my god, this is not good.
Nope. Oh, well, one of them gets saved by the shield battery, actually. That could have been a 3 disrupted donation. Instead, it's only 2. I'm with you. I actually kind of forgot about the 3-3. I figured that he eventually started it, but the fact that ByuN never got it. We're now 19 minutes into a TVP, and that's crucial, man. Marines and Marauders benefit so much of those upgrades, and it would help him out tremendously in the big game-deciding fight, which I feel like we're getting closer and closer to it, because ByuN doesn't have that many SCVs either. We are going to take care of these cannons. Can we get the Nexus? The answer is no. We will get a Colossus. Decent Viking positioning, but a lot of them are about to fall.
Yeah, and that's where those Stalkers are going to come into play, but there's no real Archons or any AoE to really get rid of those Vikings quick. Most of the Colossus are going to fall. And now it is all ByuN from here. I mean, he has, negated that 4th base from sOs, who is back down to 4 bases. But
that's
hey,
his main, by the way.
He wasn't really mining anyway, right?
Yep. ByuN has never rebuilt the 4th base, so he just floated over his main. This base is obviously very vulnerable and susceptible to run-bys. ByuN's army is powerful. It should have been more powerful, but on the other hand, sOs, he's on 54 probes. That's also not that many, so losing high-tech units like Colossi and Disruptors is very painful. I really think you can see that this is a very stressful game for both of them, because I feel like they're making a couple of uncharacteristic mistakes so far.
Certainly. I mean, the same could be said for sOs. I mean, he was slower to the 2-2 because he was working off of a single forge, but he has also not started 3-3 in a very long time. So this is very uncharacteristic mistakes from these players. It's not something that you expect, but hey, it makes for a great game, so I'm down.
And on top of that, we had a couple of disrupted donations so far, right? A bit unnecessary. Big fight on Folding in the bottom right. Great target fire on these disruptors. ByuN gets what he wants, needs to avoid a final Nova, and he does. And the rest of sOS's army, it's simply not very good. A couple of Zealots, the Stalkers, we said it before, they don't stand much of a chance against these Marauders with Stim. I don't think we want to fight near the overcharged battery, but that was a phenomenal fight for ByuN, while still not having the upgrades that he needs, but the man doesn't give a damn.
Yes, indeed, and the real story here is a lot of those medevacs surviving, right? If you look at the ground, you might think, okay, like that fight didn't go so poorly for sOS, but it's all those medevacs that ByuN doesn't have to remake, and that is where his extra supply is, alongside with this gigantic, now main army of his. So yeah, sOS is gonna get choked to death here.
I'm not sure what I'm more stunned by. The fact that sOS is like not gone over 61 probes over the entirety of the game, or that neither player is getting the upgrades that they should be getting. In the end, it does seem like all of this will work out for ByuN, as he takes a pretty monstrous army supply lead at this point. And it feels like sOS is running out of steam. I mean, ByuN is like, alright, you can have those original 3-4 bases, because most of them are mined out anyway at this point.
Yeah, and there is 7 disruptors, which, you know, you could think has a lot of potential, but if we look at the rest of the units, there's not much to offer for them. And with how good ByuN is at target firing, I mean, target firing those disruptors earlier in that fight, that was so awesome because he had to target fire the one that was actually further away first. Very, you know, it's a little counterintuitive, but yeah, that is what ByuN is best at. It's the micro, it's the little details. And yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna see him just close this game out as it goes. What does he have to do now?
Well, sOS is going to try to land those big Novas, right? That's the only hope he has. I gotta say, that's still a pretty decent army. It doesn't look like he's down 60 army supply. I don't think we should be making any forward blinks, though.
All right.
A little bit adventurous.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, it's a chunky army too, right? Stalkers are kind of big unit size. The Disruptors are a little bit chunky themselves. Not very many Zealots, so it could be a little bit deceitful. And I think the supply is just, you know, overwhelmingly in favor of ByuN. But yeah, I mean, I think we've said it, right? I think that the economy for sOS could have been much better. I think that he could have capitalized much earlier on the advantages that I think he did have. Is this an opening here with 3 Disruptors going off? There's still 4, I guess.
Yeah, there's still plenty of Novas left. You gotta be a little bit careful. You don't want to run into those batteries, because overcharge is pretty amazing. And we've seen Protoss players win games because Terrans took a fight near a battery that's overcharged. Instead, ByuN is just going to rotate his army around. The Disruptors are a little bit out of position. You want to be careful. It's hard for a Terran to close a game out against the Protoss with 7 Disruptors, but I feel that ByuN is making a lot of the correct decisions. There's a couple of Zealots go down too there.
Yeah, I like that. Just showing a little bit of his army to try and deal with this Disruptors little by little. Another option would be to split his army, which ByuN is actually doing, as he has a massive army at the north. And I think, like you said, Kevin, I think this has got to be it. But I mean, sOS consolidating all of his army in the north. He will push ByuN back for now.
This army should go into the natural now. If I'm ByuN, I would absolutely just keep steaming into the natural. He's still microing this army in the center of the map. That is some very impressive stuff. I don't know what just came out of that robo. It could be that there is a disruptor hidden in the back of the natural, but it doesn't matter. GG. ByuN will take the very important 1-0 lead.